Hello, friends. This is Thaddeus from Going Nerdy, and today we got our first look at the road ahead. Now, if you thought that we were going to get this elaborate, awesome road ahead, then you were right, my friends. Or maybe you weren't. But this is our road ahead, and let's break it down. Now, first and foremost, guys, if you, again, were expecting that we would have some kind of more information about who was going to take over for the role of Carrie, CG Carrie, then definitely we got some information there, and that is going to be CG Top Hat. Now, from what it looks like, though, this is not the CG Carrie that we're looking for. Now, I don't necessarily believe that this is the guy that's going to fill her shoes. But from what I'm seeing from this post, it seems very much like this is just a new responsibility for him. If you go to the Capital Games website, they are still looking for a senior gameplay engineer. So if maybe that wasn't her spot, maybe, I don't know. I'm just not feeling that this is the replacement. Maybe it is, and I'm just underwhelmed. But CG Top Hat seems like a great guy, so let's move on and see what he has to say. First and foremost, guys, he says, let's step into the Cantina, capital C, and see what the future has in store for the next few months. Now, obviously, the road ahead talks about the next 3 months of the game, or typically talks about the next 3 months of the game, or the near future. But capital C Cantina makes me think that this is talking about proper down the Cantina, not the hollow Cantina that we're all playing in, although that would legitimately make sense, but also the Cantina table that has the Cantina energy, that has the little red things. This is like the place where a lot of the best characters, a lot of the most important characters are located right now. Geonosian Brood Alpha is there in the Cantina nodes, and the Cantina store, I know that I'm reaching here, but I'm kind of hoping that that's something that's going to change, that we're going to be able to see some additions to the Cantina store. We've seen a lot of changes to the store. We've seen new stores pop up, but I'm kind of hoping that we see some new stuff being added. Now, if you go to the Cantina store, you see a number of things like shipbuilding materials, T4 enhancements, U-wings, character wings, ability mats, and characters, right? A lot of these characters are okay, and they're great for new players. They're great for starting out players. You have Fives, who's a wonderful character. He's definitely one that I've enjoyed and made use of throughout the game. Boba Fett, great. Mob Enforcer, wonderful, of course. Probably one of the best scoundrels in the game. Old Daka, very useful, and Qui-Gon Jinn. A lot of these characters are great, but we haven't seen an update. We haven't seen much coming in the way of that. So I'm really hoping that this is going to be one of the first stores that gets an overhaul. Maybe some additional coinage. Maybe we can see some kind of trade thing take place. I don't know, but I'm hoping that that's the case. Now, next up, it says the battle rages on. And so this whole section here is saying, look, if you thought we were done with Clone Wars content, you were foolish. Remember how much people hated Knights of the Old Republic before they moved away from it? That's what we're going to see with the Clone Wars. If you loved the Clone Wars as a kid, be prepared to hate it. This game's going to make you hate it because they're going to spend so much time on this. Now, that being said, I do think that we're going to see the next probably 4 months leading up to that. I do think they're going to throw in a few things, maybe some switches going back to a different era, or I guess forward to a different era, as in we'll see some build up to episode 9, either shortly before the movie launches or shortly after. So, but what's interesting is you got this first paragraph, and it's talking about, but it says that this whole paragraph is just saying it hasn't been rocked yet, hasn't been finalized. No one's beaten it officially. They've done well, they've done good, but there's still some room to grow. Even those top tier teams still haven't struggled, still haven't dominated it completely. And of those top tier teams, There are only 80 players in the whole game who have beat the acklay. Now, when I get to the acklay, I get like one shot at it. I don't even get a shot off because that's just how I roll. But then then it goes on. It says, hey, we've reworked the Geonosians. Who's next? And the answer is clones. The clones are going to be getting their update. Now, the login character for August is Cody. Will we see a Cody, Clone Trooper, or Fives rework? I'm not necessarily thinking that we will. I do think that Echo and the Sergeant, who's really been misnamed this whole time, and I think we're going to see some of those characters step up. I don't think that we're going to see massive tweaks. The Geonosians didn't see massive tweaks. They saw some really good additions. They saw some really good things. But I'm not necessarily sure that we're going to see massive changes to the clones. We're finally going to be getting the clone helmets. I mean, I cannot tell... What? We have the clone helmets? Why weren't they... What? We are finally going to see additional clones. I really think that that's what's going to be the case. Now, I think that it's likely that we're going to see some of the characters that have been introduced in the Geonosian territory battle up until this point, as far as the clones, also introduced here. I think that we will probably get Pawns. I think that he will be one of our next characters. He could be coming with maybe a Mace Windu rework. I could see that being the case. I think that whoever comes, it's also likely that we will get the troop transport that's shown here above. I think that it's very possible that could be one of our next Galactic Republic ships. And I for one, am excited. I think that's going to be really cool with the addition of Kenobi's fleet ship, Kenobi's capital ship. I think that it's very possible that we could see more Galactic Republic ships being added to the game. Next up, I think that it's really important. This last paragraph really holds a lot of the potential spoilers for what's coming. It says, our Clone Wars invasion ultimately ends with the light-sided territory battle, right? We know that's coming. But what they're saying is that it's not coming yet. It's not coming anytime soon. On the light side, you'll battle the dreaded droid army and the villains of the Separatist Council. Now, there's a lot of villains on the Separatist Council. And so I'm really kind of excited to see how that plays out. I think we'll see a number of characters that we haven't seen so far. And I'm pretty stoked for that. We've got some new units making an appearance to support the war effort that will leave you slapping your forehead in disbelief. What does that mean? Ki-Adi-Mundi is going to be one of those characters that gets called in to fight, to attack, to do whatever he needs to do, right? Forehead, let's face it, Ki-Adi-Mundi has more than a forehead. He's got like a 12 head, right? Because his head goes all the way up. He's a cone head, right? Just very much a Saturday Night Live character. But I'm thinking that that's what it's going to be. I'm also not thinking that we're going to see Jar Jar. I don't think that Jar Jar is the character that they're alluding to, mostly because Jar Jar wasn't there at the Battle of Geonosis. And I think that what we'll be seeing is quite possibly more of those characters that have been introduced already in the game. Maybe some Jedi that are definitely utilitarian that will help extend the life of your team. But it's very possible. But again, I don't think that this is coming anytime soon. It does say we have a few other surprises in store, which again, I'm kind of hoping that we're going to see some changes to some stores. Not holding my breath on that one, but that would be awesome. But revealing more would strain our Benevolence. So again, they're dropping hints at the Benevolence being added, which is both frustrating and just give it to us already. If we get the Benevolence, I don't know. Will it be the acklay side of the light side territory battle? Will we actually get the Benevolence? I don't know, guys. This is all up in the air. You won't have to scavenge for long, as the light side reeks of great content. Now, there's a lot in this one sentence. You won't have to scavenge for long. Obviously, there's a few major and very important scavengers in the Star Wars universe. You've got the Jawas that are crazy important scavengers. Could we see a Jawa rework? Possibly. I don't know. We've got Rey, who's a scavenger. Also, I don't know. But scavenge is definitely one of those things that is part of the game. Scavengers are part of the Star Wars universe. Now, there's one scavenger who was connected to the Separatist Alliance, and that is Ga-Not. Now, Ga-Not was a Trandoshan scavenger who operated during the Clone Wars. He had captured R2-D2. He tried to sell him to Grievous. I remember Ga-Not in the Star Wars miniatures game, and I loved him because he was awesome. He called in reinforce. I loved him. He was one of my favorite characters. I loved playing with the Separatist in that board game, and he was one of my favorite characters. But I maybe we'll see a Ga-Not. I don't know. He would be one that I'm kind of flummoxed, thinking that maybe not. I don't know. Next, though, it says the light side reeks of great content. Now, guys, this is something that I think we've all been expecting. Finally, a crossover event between Game of Thrones and Star Wars with the addition of Reek. Now, for those of you who don't know, who never really went into Game of Thrones, Reek is a man at arms in the service of House Bolton. His story is just one of the most sad, and I can't even. It's a sad story. It really is. It also could mean that we will be using a Reek in the new light side territory battle, and if that's the case, awesome. But what does that mean? That means that we're going to need Padme. That means that we're going to need Jedi Anakin, right? That Padawan Anakin that's in the game, right? Maybe he will be one of our light side characters that is the Wat Tambor. Maybe he's someone that we're going to be able to get characters for. Maybe he's going to be like a Wampa, and maybe we get Wampa and Reek and then other random animals added to the game. Maybe instead of getting vehicles, we start getting more random animals. Maybe we'll get the Wampa and the Reek and the acklay and the Tauntaun and Minok. I have no idea. I don't think that's where they're going, but it would be cool to see a Reek added to the game as a playable character. I think that'd be really neat. It's more likely that we'll see the Reek added to the game as a additional character that can be brought in to help. Maybe he will be the acklay that we fight. I don't know. We'll see. Now, finally, guys, the last thing that they've really talked about here is unlocking iconic power, right? And there's major items that have significance in the Star Wars universe. You've got Darth Vader. They mentioned Darth Vader's helmet, Yoda's little wooden stick. You see Rey's staff, and then Darth Maul's lightsaber, right? Other things include, Luke Skywalker's hand and Snoke's upper half. You also have stuff like, I don't know, like the dice from Han. I mean, a lot of these things sound really cool, but here's what I'm kind of hoping this looks like. The way that they've introduced this, they're saying that, you're going to be able to use your equipment and gear that you've been holding on to that you can't do anything with to level up these things. What I'm hoping is that we are going to be able to promote characters. Do you guys remember the idea of promoting a character from I remember from Shining Force. I loved Shining Force as a kid. I know they did it in the early Final Fantasy games. I never really played past 2 or 3, but you could promote a character from one class to another. And I'm hoping that that's what they're doing here, is they're promoting a character from one ability to another. Whether it completely changes the concept, whether it completely changes something. I don't know, but I'm kind of hoping that this is not just another gear grind. I'm hoping that we've grinded all the gear that we need to be able to unlock whatever the use of this is going to be. So I don't know. I'm cautiously optimistic. Now, from the road ahead, I am excited about this. I'm cautiously optimistic. This doesn't have a ton of information like we've seen with previous roads ahead. And I am hoping that that's because they're planning on giving us more information here in the next couple of weeks, the next couple of months. That's what they say. They're like, we're excited to talk about this, and we're excited to talk about changes over the coming weeks and months. So hopefully they stick to that. Hopefully they actually do talk about the changes in the coming weeks and in the coming months and actually give us information and create a dialogue with us and just tell us, tease us. Everyone likes a little bit of a tease. I mean, we say we don't, but we kind of do. That being said, guys, what are your thoughts on the road ahead? Did it give you everything that you want? To me, there's still a number of things that I feel like we're missing out on, a number of characters that we're missing out on. But the fact that they're talking about the focus being on Clone Wars, I am cautiously optimistic that more and more and more and more and more and more and more is coming. And I absolutely look forward to being sick of the Clone Wars and ready to move on to whatever comes next. Now, leave a comment in the section below. Like, subscribe, share. Check us out on goingnerdy.com. Visit me at realgoingnerdy and on Instagram and on Twitter. You can find a lot of other stuff that I post there. Let me know what you think. Join us on Discord and let's chat about this. Again, cautiously optimistic is my feeling, but tell me what you guys think. This has been Thaddeus, and as always, my friends, smile and stay nerdy.